Hi everyone, my name is Vicky and welcome to the Bridge Podcast. On today's episode, we will be continuing from where we stopped the last time. And I am back with the conversation of long distance relationship. Remember, with the last time we talked about why long distance relationship is a bad idea. Specifically, I gave you 5 reasons with a lot of stats to support my argument as to why you should not be pursuing long distance relationship. Today though, I'm taking a different approach and I want to talk to you about something opposite, which is if you must date long distance, because I know some of y'all don't listen. Look, we do got to work here, give you all the tips, give you all the cheat sheet, give you all the goodies, all the stuff, all the secret. We dish it all out. We tell you why it's a bad idea, but I know some of y'all don't listen. And I know some of y'all are still gonna date long distance. And I know that some of y'all are still gonna learn the hard way, unfortunately. And I also know that this might work for some other people. Regardless, I wanna make sure that I'm not only bringing the negatives, I want to bring the positives into your life because I have seen this work for some people. If you must date long distance, and I'm talking, if you've tried everything around you and nothing has worked, and you finally found this girl somewhere in the middle of nowhere, and you are beginning to feel all the great vibes, you are hoping this is going to work out, hey, I got you covered. If you found that guy in a different country and you are in love already, you're hoping this works out, I also got you covered. Look, this is a very neutral platform. I am going to get my guys covered and I'm going to get my ladies covered. So I'm going to be bringing in the tips, all the the tea and everything in between that will be helpful for my brothers as well as my sisters, but I got you all covered. I promise. This is, like I said, it's a neutral ground. I want you all to have every strategy in your pocket to succeed in life because, hey, whether we like it or not, relationships, and this is why this issue has become so popular. It's trendy all the time. Relationships go a long way to determine where we get to in life. Listen to that again. The person that you choose as your partner will go a long way to determine where you get to in life. Relationships can make or mar your life. We hear that all the time, but I'm serious. This is not something we should take for granted. When we want a good job, we do everything in our power to go to school, we get certified, we get licenses, we do all these things to get a very good job. Whether it's 6 figures, 10 figures, whatever it is, we do everything in our power to get that job. When we want a house, we do everything we can to get it. Anything we want in life, we do everything we can. When it comes to relationship, why are we so lazy to invest our time, our effort into this thing called relationship? Because the reason why relationships are breaking these days is because one party wants to work and the other doesn't want to work, or both parties don't want to do the work, or one party is doing the work, the other is not. It's just a lot going on when it comes to relationship. And one of the reasons why we continue to fail as a society is because we are not dedicating enough time that we dedicate to other aspects of our lives into our relationships, forgetting that relationships takes us to different places in our lifetime that maybe our jobs will never take us. And so it's important that you choose right. And there is no such thing as choosing the perfect person. We say it all the time, I just want my perfect soulmate. I just want this. Hey, let's dump all of that nonsense in 2024. Let's face reality in 2025, knowing fully well that there's no such thing as perfect when you're talking about a relationship. There is no such thing as perfect when you're talking about anything anyways. Especially in a partner. Are you perfect? No. Am I? Absolutely not. So why are you in search of a perfect partner? You are in search of your match. And to get your match, you have to do the work. And there's so much work that has to be done. And today, we're not going to talk about all that work because that is a completely different conversation that I will be bringing in experts. I don't want to sit here and pretend that I know it all, but I'm going to be bringing in people that will be breaking all this down for us. But today, I got you covered for those 5 tips if you must pursue a long distance relationship. Because I do want to acknowledge the fact that some couples may choose long distance relationship for valid reasons. If you are one of them and you find yourself in these situations, here are some strategies. Number 1, set clear expectations. Easy peasy. Do you know how to best do this? I'm going to give you an example. I was talking to one guy at some point, and I was asking him about his life and what he does. And then he was telling me about the story about his life regarding his relationship. And I said, let's hear it. And he said to me, when I first met this girl, she told me that I told her that I'm not much of a calling person. And she told me that she was okay with it. She said text messages would do. However, as time goes on, and ultimately that was what caused the breakup in that relationship, he said to me she was not okay with it. And he got confused because he had told her in the beginning, I'm not much of a calling person, and you said you were fine with it. That was a clear expectation, right? He said, do not expect me to call you every day. However, I will chat with you every single day. And she said, okay. I'm sure as time goes on, she started to think this over and she goes, no, I can't do this. And she bailed. I do not blame her. That's why it's important for you to set clear expectations in a relationship and ensure that your partner is okay with it. Because apparently in the story that I just told you, she was not okay with it, but she didn't voice that out until later, that she was frustrated with the lack of phone calls. And so you do not want to assume anything. You do not want to assume the stage or the pace that you're in. You always want to talk about it and set those clear expectations. You want to define the relationship. What does exclusive mean? And hey, here's another tip. My sisters especially, this is for my sisters. We turn around and blame these guys and say, oh, he did this to me, he did that. But most of the time, I have realized that when I talk to women, they are confused about where they are in relationships. And I'm going to unpack that in a little bit. If you're talking to a guy and he has not officially asked you to be his girlfriend, please do not assume that's your boyfriend. That's not your man. Until that man look you in the eye and say, Ashley, I love what we've been doing. I enjoy your company. I want to take this one step further. Would you be my girlfriend? If that dude has not said that to you, please stop assuming. Please stop thinking you're exclusive with him. Please stop thinking about his wedding dress. Stop looking for a venue in your head, because he has not claimed you. And until he does that, please know that you're only in talking stage with this friend for the time being until that changes. So clear expectations are very important right from the onset. And another thing about setting clear expectations, guys, you don't want to set these expectations later. No, you want to set those expectations immediately. The moment you start to talk and you get to that stage where both of you agree to be exclusive, let's talk about it. Oh, I once had a friend, this is a specific word. He would say, we gotta talk about our non-negotiables. What's your non-negotiables? Your non-negotiables is important to me. For so long, I didn't even understand. I do understand what non-negotiable means, but I'm like, okay, does that mean that this is it if this happens? Oh, and I promise you, most of the time it is. For him, he feels that these XYZ, like 5-6 list of things are so important that if you mess up or if you do not follow those non-negotiables, so to say, it's over. And so it's important that you set those clear expectations right from the beginning and know what your goals are. What are your goals? What do you want? What are you looking for? What are your expectations? Phone calls, what days in the week, weekends, what's your schedule? What do you like? You do not want to assume anything. And so it's worse if you're in a long distance relationship, because you want to make sure that your goals are aligning, the things you want to do are aligning, and everything is coming together beautifully once you set clear expectations. That is definitely a recipe for success. Number 2, frequent communication. Let me emphasize that using various forms of communication, whether it's video calls, emails, text messages, voice messages, you want to explore everything when you're in a long distance relationship. Even Instagram, you might want to exchange memes. Remember, that's like a new thing now that we've been doing for the past couple of months or maybe a few years now. So exchange memes with your partner on Instagram or Facebook or whatever. So there's social media where you can communicate. There's WhatsApp, there's phone calls, there's text messages, there's emails. You want to use all those channels, all those platforms to talk to your partner. That will keep the excitement going and it will make you all feel so connected. Because remember, bonding comes in different forms and you never know when that breakthrough is going to happen in your relationship. So it's very crucial that you communicate frequently so that you continue to feel bonded and you continue to feel emotionally connected to this person who is so far away from you. Number 3, you want to plan visits. Hey, remember when I talked to you about the reason why you should never pursue long distance relationship? Something that I mentioned as one of those reasons is lack of physical intimacy. Now, to get physical intimacy, one important thing you have to do is to plan visits. And so when you plan visits, it's important because you'll be able to prioritize each other. You'll be able to spend time together, and every of those, moments that you've spent apart would even make more sense when you finally get together. So let me encourage you that it's so important that you prioritize visits as much as possible. It's gonna cost you money. Remember, financial strain. We talked about that in previous episodes about one of the issues with long distance. In this case, you want to make those investments. Maybe save up some money monthly towards visiting your partner, and you do that throughout the year. So at least you want to see once a quarter, if possible monthly, depending on where they are, right? Some long distance are long distance. I'm talking from America to South Africa, for example. That's long distance. I'm talking from America to Angola. That's long distance, right? So you want to save up money towards all the trips that you're going to take throughout the year to go see your partner, and exchange that too. So if it comes this time, you'll be the one to go the next time. That kind of helps both of you just appreciate each other more and get accustomed to your environment, which is very important. Engage in shared activities. One of the things that I suggested for a friend of mine who was in a long distance relationship, well, she still is, was to plan virtual dates. And I know that sounds maybe even weird to some. Why are we having virtual dates? And I remember she told me, she said, hey, when I suggested it to my boyfriend, he said, wait, what? Yes, there are virtual dates that you can plan. Remember, some of us who work remote have a way of connecting with our colleagues. So we do all this, like some companies do like town halls, and some will do like all these virtual games just to connect with each other. And those are always very helpful because you get to know. I love the break rooms, guys. If you work remote and you connect with your colleagues via some of those platforms where they do all those games, some of them will do these break rooms. And I love the break rooms because you get to talk to maybe like 4 people that are brand new, that you never would have known anything about them. And some of them get to talk about their families, some of them get to talk about exciting things that they have coming up, some of them get to talk about even work. There's talk about so many things that you would never have gotten from the bigger group. And so it's the same thing with relationships. If you are in a long distance relationship, you want to ensure that you are sharing activities. You want to participate in those activities together, and virtual dates is one of them. Set up a date, look pretty. Imagine the way I look ready for a date right now. Let's say I have a long distance guy that I'm talking to. We're gonna set up nicely. I have my lights ready, and I'm gonna be like, I'm ready for you. And then he's ready. I have my wine. And then we, bond over wine. We bond over our time together, and we talk about our life, experiences, what we have going on, what we have coming up. I always love this idea of sharing like our 6 months plan. Hey, in January, I'm doing XYZ. In February, my friend is turning 40. In March, this is what I'm doing. I'm visiting my uncle. In April, I'm gonna be home. I'm just gonna be chilling. In May, it's my cousin's birthday. Something. In August, we have a wedding. It's just so much that you can talk about for the next 6 months about your plan, your life, and what you have coming up. And they can start looking at that as well to kind of determine what they have coming up and begin to fit you into their lives. My friend, again, who was in a long distance relationship, was talking to me about some time ago where her boyfriend wanted to visit like around December, only for her to find out that the guy already booked a ticket to go to South Africa. And I'm going, wait, y'all don't talk about your trip? She said, well, we don't talk as far as like months in advance. I'm like, well, you got to do that. It's important. Because this is long distance, and so it's important, because if you're going to travel to them, you're not going to be buying your ticket a day before, right? So if you're going to travel, you want to buy your ticket like a few weeks before the trip. And to do that, you need to know their schedule, because you don't want to go and then they are already on their way to another country. So you definitely want to engage in shared activities. And you want to do that, and you can watch movies together too. Like if a brand new movie comes out, make sure you go see it the same day. I had a friend of mine who's like my movie buddy, and we do not see new movies without each other. I remember seeing Bad Boys before him, and I could not even tell him that I've seen Bad Boys, even though I've seen the movie. But I feel horrible because I wanted to make sure that was like our shared activity. And that's my friend, by the way. That's just a friend. And we eventually got to see it together. And I remember telling him, I was like, when I saw this movie, I didn't see the full movie. And so now we get to watch it together. That's one thing we did together. So you want to do things like that with like brand new movies that you can go see together. And then you guys can like call each other on your way back and kind of like discuss some of these ideas and some of the things that you saw about the movie that you like, or whatever it is that you want to talk about. So that is very important. So remember, shared activity is one of the tips or strategy to keep your long distance relationship functioning and going great. The last tip that I have for you today is you want to stay supportive and extremely positive. This is important, right? You want to uplift each other. Think about it. You are far away from each other. You're not seeing each other. You have all these things going on. You have your life. You have your job. You have different things happening in your life. And so you want to be that person that would ensure that your partner feels safe, feels secured, and feel happy as much as you can all the time. So you want to uplift them. Tell them how much they mean to you. Tell them how proud you are of them. Ask about their day. Ask about their colleagues at work, and uplift them and tell them they can do it. It's also important that you celebrate achievements. This is part of being supportive. When you celebrate achievement and provide emotional support, it is so important, because what it does is it reinforces your bond despite the distance. So the distance is not going to matter anymore, because, for example, if you just got promoted, they're the first person you want to talk to, right? You get on the call and be like, babe, I have good news. I want to talk to you about something. And when they get on the call and you say, babe, I just got promoted, I just became a manager, I just became a director, whatever it is, they are super excited just as much as you are to share that moment with you. And the next thing they say is, well, I owe you dinner when next you're here, because we gotta go celebrate. Ensure you do that. birthdays, Valentine's, be there for each other. Spend those amazing times together. Again, these are the 5 tips or 5 strategies to keep your long distance relationship going and hopefully successful. Number 1, here's a recap. Set clear expectations. No confusion, no miscommunication. Be clear as to what your expectations are. Frequent communication. Communicate, and over communicate. Let your partner know what you have going on, what's going on in your life, and ensure that they are a part of that. You also want to plan visits. You have to see each other. It's important. That's the way you can have this physical intimacy, and you can ensure that you continue to build trust. You also want to engage in shared activities, do things together, find common ground. What do you all like to do? Do those things together virtually. Also, stay supportive and positive. So you want to make sure that you're supporting your partner, you're uplifting each other, and there for each other. You're celebrating achievements together. I hope these 5 strategies help your long distance relationship thrive. Ensure that you give me feedback in the comments. Let me know what you think. Have you used the strategies? Did it work? Did it not work? If you need more, I'm happy to bring them for you. Until next time, where we dive more into these conversations, I am excited for you to use the strategies to your advantage, and I want to hear all about it when you do use it. Thank you for joining me today. Again, I am Vicky, and I cannot wait to talk to you soon. In the meantime, please ensure that you're kind to yourself and stay awesome. Talk to you soon. Bye for now.